That'll shorten up each of the arms, overlapping arms, by about 2 inches. Hey. Hey, it's Joel Walsman, CEO and Master Electrician of Jefferson Electric. In this video, we're gonna look at how to replace this with that. Hey, it's Joel Walsman, CEO and Master Electrician of Jefferson Electric. This is my second project of the day in an old home, so we're starting dirty. Today, we're gonna be installing this LED wafer light on my basement stairs. That busted up old light is a head knocker, and it's trash. So step-by-step for how to upgrade the lighting in your home. These principles and practices will probably apply to almost any situation that you have. All right, we don't know exactly what we're gonna get into here. A repair is a little bit less predictable than an install. And that's kind of what's happening. I've got an LED bulb here that works. I'm gonna save that. But all the rest of this fixture is garbage. I don't see any fasteners right now that would inform me of how this fixture is secured. So I'm gonna start prying on the sheet metal. Power's been turned off at the switch, which could still mean that I've got live power in the fixture because I've not killed the whole circuit. But basically just collapsing the fixture in on itself with force. It's nothing but tension holding it in there. Woo! Didn't see any fasteners. There it is, direct wired without a box. Oh, beautiful. Excuse me. Messy. All right, I can't undo that. I'm just gonna have to cut this off. I wanna keep the existing wiring as long as possible. In this case, power to the fixture is dead. You definitely, oh man, you definitely have to use a box to make up these joints properly. The wire is so short though. I can't get any extra on it. We're underneath the upstairs stairs. It's really interesting looking at the hyper complex framing of this curving staircase that's over our heads. Whew, wow. Wow, wow, wow. So look at this. If I install a box here, which I'm going to do, the wire is not even long enough to reach that box. Man, this is the real world, guys. It's not the purpose of this video. That's not what I intended to show you. There's just nothing on it. I got nothing. Okay, this is what's gonna have to happen. I'm gonna put in a J-box that's gonna be accessible by removing the new fixture. See if the new fixture will cover everything that's there. No, not quite. I did choose this fixture on purpose. It was a really cost-effective, slimline, durable, no one's gonna hit their head on it. It's gonna look really good. It's the right color temperature of light. I really like that 3000 Kelvin. Just a little bit closer to daylight indoors without that sultry 2700 Kelvin feeling that we're all so used to with the incandescent bulb. But I've got a couple steps to go through here. One, secure a J-box and then make a jumper off the J-box to my electrical box. Two, cut in a piece of drywall here, which I've got 5/8 drywall. Anticipated this being a little bit thicker plaster and lath, and it does look like it's about 5/8 to 3/4. So insert a piece of drywall there to finish the surface. And then finally, I'll get to mount my box. It's not gonna look perfect, but it's here in the basement. And I'll do the plaster repair with the rest of the house when it's that time. All right, this is how this fixture installs. It's got a mounting plate, a lock and unlock position, so I twist it to the right. To remove this, I'm gonna mount that to the box and then twist the fixture onto that. Let's solve one problem at a time. All right, so it's kind of crazy. We've got a box, a 1x6 box that's been framed up here that was custom for the recessed, old-fashioned recessed light fixture. I'm gonna bust that box out. I'm gonna use the pieces I knock loose to become my drywall nailers, and then set a J-box to extend my wire that's too short down into a new J-box. You gotta do it with a J-box. You can't just cut corners and create a fire hazard. Leave a fire hazard up there in the ceiling right next to this almost 100-year-old wood. This wood has been drying out for 100 years. That's a fire risk I'm not willing to take. So here goes. Ooh! Therefore it's brittle, split. There's a couple ways to tackle this project, but this is what I'm gonna try. There it is. All right, other side. Stout. Unbelievable. Oh, look at that. There's a 2x hiding behind it. That's why it's not going anywhere. I'll pry. Take my onboard pry bar, large flathead screwdriver, and I'll pry 1x off the face of the 2x. This plaster is pretty stout. This house is very well built. You can't count on plaster to hold though necessarily. Pro tip, how to remove nails with a pair of pliers. It works so well. You just grab the shaft of the nail. Because of the cutting strength and force of the pliers, it's not going anywhere. And then just pry away from the board, they come right out. It's beautiful. 16 penny nails, anything. It is one of the best ways to remove nails, especially in a tight spot like this. It's quick, it's easy. If you squeeze too hard, you'll just cut the head right off the nail. You can even pull the head through the board. I'm gonna pre-drill these holes now so it doesn't split again on us. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's making a pretty big mess. You got to be prepared. Caution your customer, it's going to be noisy. That doesn't mean anything is going wrong. Just the way working on older homes is, or your wife, or whoever you're working for. It's going to be noisy, and it's going to be messy. All right. All right, 5/8. Okay, longer screws, 2-inch, number 2 square drive. Lots of holding power. Continuing to be careful not to split my board. There it is. All right. Now let's take a look at this guy. We've got a couple options. You can put them vertically, horizontally. It's a nice tight fit right there. That's what I'm gonna do, you know? I like it that way. I'm gonna re-drill my pilot holes. A little different than what I expected, but I really like it. I really do. All right, get back to 5/8 setback. There it is. There it is. All right, it's a good tight fit. I'm gonna toenail my screws in this time. So re-drill, but at an angle into the framing that's up there. One on each side is sufficient. Very small amount of holding strength required. This is not for my electrical box. It's just for the drywall. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this rear knockout. And the reason for that is I've got, this wire is short. I've got to position the box in such a manner that the wire is going to reach. Because I've got no slack, nothing to spare. So definitely have to use a box, definitely have to use proper connectors and points of entry into that box, no exceptions there. Tighten it down, tool tight. In this case, I'm bringing in an MC cable from this 1938 home. There's no knob and tube in this home that I'm aware of. So in order to enter this MC cable, I've got to open up my clamp all the way. I'm going to use an anti-short bushing, which is this little red pilgrim hat that inserts into my cable for safekeeping. That sharp metal edge. Very, very tight. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and leave my box loose where it's most easily accessed while I put in my ground screw and make up my wiring connections with approved UL listed connectors. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is secure it in place. So is this ideal? Not really. Could it be fairly interpreted as complying with the requirements of the code? Yes. This junction box will be accessible. All you'll have to do to access it is spin the fixture a couple of degrees. And so I think I'm checking all the boxes in a fair and compliant manner. At some point here, hopefully within the next 2 years, I'll get this whole house rewired. All the BX will be gone. All the little bits like the floor outlets in the breakfast nook with the wrong type of wiring coming in, all the miswired three-way switches, everything's going to be corrected and be 100% brand new. But in the meantime, I've got to mitigate some of the malfunctioning items and hazards. I've got surge protection now. I've upgraded 2 of the oldest, most deteriorated electrical panels. There are a total of 7 on premises. So we're almost in good shape there. I'd like to upgrade 2 more. Work in progress. Bear with me. Tight spot. You want the outer jacket of your Romex to be a minimum of 1/4 inch into the box, but really just a 1/4 inch. More than that and it just starts to congest. And then all your clamps snug. Don't death grip anything. You can actually damage the incoming cable, so do not death grip it. We're gonna make this wiring box up color to color. It's just a straight pass through. We're gonna connect the ground to the ground screw that I've just installed here. And that's because this box, being metallic, is required to be grounded by code. And the BX cable, the jacket, is actually the ground. So the jacket being securely connected to the box by means of a metal connector, not a non-metallic connector. The box is now grounded through the jacket, and then this ground screw is going to continue that ground path in a compliant manner to the ground wire. Whew. And obviously I'm huffing and puffing. It's a little bit of work. Strip back my conductors with my wire strippers. These guys too. Be careful with these old conductors. They get a little weak over time, especially if they've been exposed to high heat. The insulation can really be deteriorated, very, very much compromised. So I'm going to give this a gentle pre-twist. Oh, look at that. Deal with that in a sec. There it is. So remember, have to use junction boxes for electrical connections. They cannot be in free air. You've got to cover the boxes. You have to use proper connectors and entry points. You've got to ground metallic boxes. Just use the right fittings for everything, every connection. All right, now we're gonna mount this sucker. Get it up in there. Holy cow, nothing easy about this. It's tight. It's all up in there. Boom, there it is. It's time to fold the wiring back into the box. Gently, carefully, being very respectful of that old insulation on the wire. And then make sure you do get the wiring folded back in such that it doesn't get pinched between the lid and the box. That can cause a direct short. Proper J-box cover. And you may be asking how many screws are required to secure a box. And the answer is as many as it takes for an electrical box to be firmly affixed to the building structure. It's probably 1 or 2 or more depending on your situation, but 2's often a safe bet. I'm using 1 here because it's pretty firm and it's very hard to reach. All right, I'm gonna put a staple on that wire. Just something to secure it between boxes. All right, again, not death grip, just right. All right, I've got plenty for wire entry into this box. I'm using a box on a bracket. That's how it came, how I purchased it, and that's going to allow me to support that box. Now you'll notice that the bracket is too long. It's not a fit either direction. I'm gonna have to saw the bracket down. It doesn't have any break points on this bracket, so I'll literally just slice it with a sawzall, a hacksaw right there. That'll shorten up each of the arms, overlapping arms, by about 2 inches. And then it'll be a fit. It's dusty, guys. That is it. Turns out the old box was centered, so I really don't have to do anything fancy there. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten up my box to the bracket. Ooh, hold still, buddy, hold still. And then I will finalize the height of the bracket, square of the bracket. All right, that's gonna be my straight edge. I like it. I like it a lot. Put my fasteners in here. Oh, man. There it is. The bracket's secure. There's still some slop in the box, but it's fully snugged down. Okay, whew. We're ready for wire entry into this box. I'm gonna go ahead and pre-strip it. 8 inches, that's plenty. 8 to 9 is just great, great, great. Always peel back that inner paper and get it out of there. It's nothing but noise. By the time you're ready to slip it in here, use the manufacturer's entry point here, and that flap right there is considered a clamp, a cable clamp. The wire forces in well but does not back out. And then this ground screw, it's bonded here, and it is going to connect everything that's metal to the fixture, the box, the wire. It's a point to aggregate all of those grounding elements. All right, we've got all this prepped. I'm gonna fold my wires back out of the way. It's time to secure our drywall. I'm gonna need a square piece of drywall that is 10.5 by 10.5 by 10. Let's cut it. We'll do this a 2-step process. First, we'll cut the square out, and then we'll locate the box and cut that out of the drywall as well. All right, we need a 10 by 10.5, so I'm just gonna notch that. Here's my 10.5, and I've got a natural built-in square in the form of this old lens here. So there's 10.5, and there's 10, and just double check this dimension. 10. Boom, there it is. Use my flathead to mark that and score it, just like an electrician on a job site with readily available trash. Yeah, I'm no carpenter. I'm definitely not a drywall guy. You can improve upon these techniques and tools. Be my guest. Now that I got my square, I'm identifying my circle. And the edge is 3 1/4, the outside edge is 7 3/8. So I'm transferring my marks onto this piece, making sure the orientation is correct. And then off of this wall, it's 2 7/8, 6 7/8. So that's this way. It's easy to get turned around. 2 7/8, 6 7/8. All right, there we go. I'll lay an electrical box on that to template my circle. I'll cut it out, and it should just be a perfect fit. Screw that up, and we're rocking forward. We're back. Well, I'm gonna have to clean up this corner here, I think, because it's real rounded. Get it good. All right, let's try it. Let's see if it fits. I didn't mark it, so I don't know which way it goes. Oh, wait a sec. Look at that. So close. Dangerous trying to pound drywall into place. Oh, man. Okay. If I had a rasp, a drywall rasp, that'd be nice. Just need to clean up a little bit here and there. Let's see if that does it. All right. It's a little bit there. That cut is on an angle. Just trim some of that off. And I have to pay my kids in chocolate to clean this big mess up. They'll do it. They'll take on the challenge. There it is. All right, it's a little low on this edge. I think I missed my mark. I like this edge. I'm gonna adjust these two boards and screws, just make it right. Do it for my wife, a little extra effort. There it is. Let's try again. All right. Whew. Let's button this up. Tiny little recess on those. Bring the wiring through. Center of the bracket. 832 screws utilized for fixture mounting, unless it's a heavy fixture, then you 1032s. There it is. I don't want to crush my bracket or concave it by over tightening it. Oh! This box is made for 8s and 10s. The inner screws are 832s, the outers are 10s, so I gotta slide the bracket over. No? What? That doesn't grab either. Huh. Okay, let's use this. Let's use that, why not? All right, in this case, it's an all plastic fixture, so there's actually not a ground wire on the fixture because there are no metallic parts to ground. So that disappears, goes out of the way. And now we've got this tiny, tiny little, and not so generous, wiring harness. Oof. I need to get that. There we go. And the orientation of this is going to be agnostic. Fixture will not care which color is made to which color. This is a 120, 277 volt fixture. That means it'll light with any voltage from 120 to 277. All right. So there's no space behind the fixture, so I've got to take these wiring connections, tug tested, push them up inside. It'd be hard to do this with a pancake box. We're gonna have virtually no space. Pancake fixture, pancake box. Very difficult, so I'm glad we didn't land center on framing. Tuck it all up in there and then find, no. No. Ah. There it is. A little wobble to it, but it's secure.
I'm ready.
So what can you expect to pay for a project like this? Well, I used a wide variety of very small parts, very inexpensive parts. I probably have about $30 in miscellaneous items and about $30 in this fixture off Amazon. Now, if I'm an electrician, I'm gonna build a contingency into a project like this. I know it's gonna take twice as long. I know I'm gonna have all these little pieces to put together of this giant puzzle, and I'm going to encounter complexities. So I need to be careful how I set up my contract and my arrangement with the customer, because this little fixture job could take me 3 hours in an old home like this, as opposed to what probably would be an easy one-for-one swap in a new home. Total charges on this job range between $300 and $400 for one fixture. That's what you can expect to pay if you're going to hire it out. Ta-da! Woo! No more headbanger, man, but that was tough. Every little challenge we could have found, we did. We found it. Okay, we saw, we conquered, we overcome. Subscribe to Electric Pro Academy for real skills to make real money.